Mike, man, how have you been? How was your year? How was 2020 for you?
Ryan, I got to tell you, it was a great year, man, and I'm really glad to see you. You know, I said there was some crazy things going on, so I think for the first week, I might have sat on the couch and cried, and then I realized that nobody cared, and I needed to work harder. You know what I'm saying? So we did good. I think it was June 1st, we were announced the 77th new car salesman in the country. To put this in perspective, there are 30,000 salesmen out there. And then as of the end of the year for work, of course, I became a Golden Master again for 7 years in a row now. And it took 9,000 hours, 3 years to obtain the master status. So that's a great deal. I've gotten to the point in the car business, Ryan, where I never have to introduce myself, okay? And that's not being arrogant, it's just the truth. Everybody knows Mike Lehman in the car business.
Well, I mean, great's a big word. Would you, at this point, consider yourself a great salesman?
Great is a huge word, you're absolutely right. But let me tell you this, when the traffic is flowing, all salesmen are great, okay? But when the traffic comes to a halt, that's when the great salesmen get going. So yes, I'm obsessed with what I do, and I would consider myself a great salesman.
So, you know, to be a great salesman, tell me a little bit about your process. What's different about your process versus other salesmen's process?
That is an amazing question because, you know, as you go to buy a car, there is a process. I can't stop the process. Nobody can stop it. There's a process. Most salesmen drag their customers through that process, and that can be worse than going to a dentist, okay? Mike Lehman takes, walks, and holds their hand through the process. This is totally different. My idea is not to please a customer, not to make a customer happy, but to amaze that customer.
Let's jump over to the buyer now. What advice, I mean, with all the buying that's going on right now, what's some advice you would give a buyer?
Now is the great time to buy a car, and I do have great advice for a buyer. You know, I do this every day. So if you wanted to see a specialist, I would be that guy, right? So most people come in and tell me their friends told them not to tell me anything. It's the biggest mistake in the whole business because what that does is delay the process. The truth is you need to tell your professional salesman everything you need to make your life easier. Now, it's extremely important that your salesman listens to you. So that's a very important thing. And of course, for him to do that, he has to be obsessed with what he's doing.
So Mike, what's next?
We have a book called The $1 Million Letter coming out, Next Level Sales. It's going into 8,000 retail stores. It'll be able to be purchased on Amazon and any website that sells books. Also, Ryan, we're going to make some investments into helping others and inspiring others this year by going out to other dealerships to train and hopefully enlighten them to become obsessed with what they do.
So, Mike, if someone watching this wanted to get a hold of you, maybe ask you questions, find out how you could, I mean, you're going to help a lot of people. How would they do that? What's the best way to get a hold of Mike Lehman?
This is an amazing question. It truly is, because most people don't know this. When you do what I do, and you do it well, okay, when your process is really good, you get rated online by the greatest search engine in the world, Google, right? If you actually Google Mike Lehman, Google will tell you he's the guy to see. Now, you can't pay for this. There's no way to pay for this at all, but you Google Mike Lehman and you will find him everywhere. Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere else you can find him. His home phone number, whatever you need is there. Just Google Mike Lehman and they'll tell you he's the man to see.